Welcome back. Welcome back, y'all. As always, I am your host, Mario. This is Rise Above, and I'm going to do my best to help you wake your consciousness up today so you can start becoming somebody that is superhuman, that is super conscious, that is super aware of what's going on around you and how to transform your life and start living into your purpose instead of trying to stay up and keep up with what everybody else is trying to get you to be. What did you think of this morning when you woke up? What was the first thought that came to your head? Can I take a wild guess and say it was probably the same problems you had yesterday? Or am I crazy? Am I right? I'm probably right. Now, why are you focusing on the same problems you had yesterday today when yesterday is gone? When yesterday is completely non existent at this point. Why? Because you've been tricked into thinking that the love one you can have. You've been brainwashed, hypnotized, whatever word you want to use, into believing that the life that you live is the only way for you to survive and to be a part of this world of this ecosystem. When that's actually quite untrue. You see, when you're born, you're given a name. You're given a name, you're given a religion, a city to grow up in, a group of people, a school, all these things that you have zero control over. Everything is chosen for you. And then you grow up and you continue living in this pattern that, well, this was the life that was chosen for you. So therefore, this is the life you have to continue to live. Well, let me break it to you. That's actually not true. Who we got here? What's going on, Robin? The truth is, once you start questioning everything around you, everything in your life, everything you've been told to believe, you start to peel back the layers of this so-called life of yours, of this existence that you were assigned to, but you never actually wanted. This is why so many people get up every day and go to a job that they don't like. Hi, Laura. How are you? I'm great. Hope you're doing good. If you guys are on the chat, feel free to drop in where you guys are from. Any questions you have about limiting beliefs or creating a new consciousness. Why do I feel like I'm able to talk about this? Well, for two reasons. One, I was able to make A drastic change in my life about 4 years ago. If you were to talk to me 5 years ago, the person you would speak to is not the person you're listening to right now. You would hear a completely different set of beliefs, of limitations, of excuses that no longer exist in my life or in my mind. And that's possible for anyone. And since then, I have been obsessed with trying to figure out how I was able to achieve that and why other people simply can't. Because you see, I can give you the steps that I took from day one that changed everything. But the reality is, if you don't believe that you can make it happen, you're not even going to try. And that's what's been mind boggling to me. That I've met people in these last few years working at different places, all with limiting beliefs, that have asked me for help, for advice on different things, on how to lose weight, how to get in shape, how to how to have a better relationship with their partner, a lot of different things. And only a very small few have actually listened to me. The rest walked away looking like they wanted to, but by the next day had already told themselves that they would fail, so why bother trying? And as heartbreaking as that was for me every time, truthfully, it was more intriguing to see why that is. And I've come not to the conclusion, because I don't think there's ever going to be a conclusion when you're talking about things like consciousness, about life, about spiritual divinity. But there's something that when you actually wake up, truly wake up to your existence, nothing is ever the same. And once you're able to see that, you begin being able to push yourselves, to push beyond the limits, and no longer letting the excuses, letting the negativity from your mind and from other people's mouths prevent you from actually pursuing a better quality of life. But where exactly is that limiting belief? That's what's bothered me. So I've read books, I've listened to books, I've listened to podcasts, I've heard different things here and there. And the biggest thing I can come up with is our lives, our limiting beliefs end up being a result of our patterns and our habits, which 95% of them are subconscious, meaning we're not even thinking about most of the things we do. And therefore, if you're living a life that you're not happy with, if you're not happy with your job, your relationship, your financial status, it's not a maybe. It's a 99.999% guarantee that you're doing it to yourself. We got here. Garg, how you doing? Kid Foreign, what's going on? There is a almost, as I said, almost a 100%. And the reason I don't say 100% because I don't believe that there's a 100% in anything in life. I think there's always that 0.1% space, because another thing I've realized when trying to figure out consciousness is understanding that not only are we all connected on a physical, on this physical sphere, meaning we're all made up of the same atoms, of the same cells. Not only that, nothing is ever solid, nothing is ever whole, so nothing's ever 100%. Understand that. If you could start thinking about life like that, you'll start washing away your worries, the nervousness, the anxiety you get when you think about going after something that you want. Take getting in shape, for example. When I go to the gym in the morning, there's recently been this new guy that shows up, and I'm going to say easily this guy's got to be between 300 and 400 pounds. And I remember the first day he got there, I remember thinking, God, I really hope this guy keeps coming. Not only because obviously it's going to help him, it'll be the best thing for him, but because even though his trajectory to where he needs to get to, it might be longer than most people trying to get in shape. If he can stay consistent and show up for at least a week or two, then the reality is he's already become a different person. It doesn't matter what he looks like on the outside. And that was about a month and a half ago, and he still shows up. I still see him. And I think that's incredible. And what he probably doesn't even realize is just the act alone that he decided to keep showing up on a daily basis transformed his mind from being a person that wasn't in shape, that didn't exercise, that didn't care about their nutrition, to now identifying as someone who does exercise, someone who does care about their physical state of being, about their health, regardless that he's still obviously very overweight. That shit doesn't matter because sometimes in life, our present circumstance is not going to define our reality. What things look like on the outside are not always going to reflect what's going on in our mind. Sometimes it just takes a while for things to manifest in our 3D reality. But if you can stay consistent on doing the things you need to do, even just a little bit, day by day, you start shifting your subconscious habits to where eventually, sooner than later, you now have to do these things you once wanted to do because it's a part of who you are. See, that's how you wake up. That's where your awakening comes from. It's not from wishing, it's not from hoping, it's from actually engaging and doing, even a little bit, the things that you say you want to do, the places you want to fix in your life, the things you want to learn. And you do it knowing that there'll be setbacks, that it won't be perfect, that you'll stumble a lot at the beginning. But I'm sure most of you will know that, and if any of you have kids, you'll know especially what I'm talking about, that when you're a baby and when your kids are babies and they start trying to learn how to walk, they fall a lot at first. They have to crawl. My kids, both of them, backward military crawled first before they even started crawling forward. Eventually, they started holding themselves up. And then one day, they started putting one foot in front of the other. And even though they're only both a few years old, still very young, walking is not something that they have to wake up and even think about. And that's what you need to do. You need to make it so in the beginning, you're okay crawling and falling and barely being able to hold yourself up in the rooms, in the places that you want to be, doing the things you want to do to make your life better, because eventually these things will become automatic to you. And once they do, you'll be able to move on to the next thing that's going to continue to improve your life. One day, you'll have somebody come to you and tell you, hey, I'm struggling with this and this. And you'll realize, oh man, that was me at some point. I forgot. I almost forgot about that past life of who I used to be. You'll continue to have awakenings in your life. But when you're able to make your first true conscious spiritual awakening, you'll remember your life from before and after that. Now, the one thing that's going to be frustrating about having this conscious awakening is that you'll be the only one on this journey. That's the part that's probably the hardest for most people. That as much as they want their friends, their family members, even their spouse to join them on this journey, it's something that each person has to get there on their own. In fact, most people are going to try to stop you and prevent you from going on this journey. Not because they hate you, even though you will have haters, but not because they hate you or they want you to be sad or not enjoy your life, but truthfully, because your awakening will remind them that they're still asleep, that they're still walking around in this zombie state that they were programmed into, and they're not ready to let go of that life. Or they have regrets for never having pursued and changed the things they needed to do. Or truthfully, they might just not want to see you go. They might know that this awakening of yours is more than likely going to result in you leaving the group, in you leaving where you grew up. And they just don't want to see you go. So they'll say things and do things that they may have not done in the past. But if you're awake and aware and peeling back the layers of everything, you'll still have love for these people. But sometimes you'll choose to just love from a distance. Because a lot of times, it's usually the people that are closest to you that are filling your brain with negativity and doubt and constantly creating a state of negative energy in your everyday life that makes it almost impossible for you to try to improve on the things you want to improve. But if you can wake up and see it, you'll become like Neo in the Matrix, to where you see that shit coming in slow motion a mile away and just move out the way. When the insults, when the jokes come, that you're now eating healthy, that you're now taking care of yourself, that you're reading, whatever, that you're a phony. I've heard it all. You have to see these things as signs that you're doing the right thing for yourself. Now, lastly, I'll say this. One of the biggest changes I made over 4 years ago when I transformed my life, got sober, truly found God, started honoring Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And this is coming from somebody who hung out at bars all the time, was clubbing all the time, was just getting smashed on a daily basis. One of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing outside of God that helped me stay in a state of awakening, especially in the beginning, because you have to understand that friction is going to be the toughest when you first start. That's when your old you, the voice that's always been in your head, is going to be the loudest. Was not just exercise, was not just meditation, was not just starting to finally understand what financial literacy is, because these are all things that I tell everybody need to become a part of their identity in order to live a holistic and fulfilled life. One of the biggest catalysts for my change was my nutrition. We got here Madeline. How you doing, Madeline? How you doing, Brian? When I cleaned up my nutrition, which was on day one, the whole world opened up for me. My mind opened up for me. My consciousness opened up for me. And I basically swore away fast food, processed food, sodas, high fructose sugary snacks, all that stuff from day one, along with giving up alcohol. I wish there was a word strong enough to explain to you how amazing you're going to feel immediately. Because every time I decided to get sober in the past, I would go through 2 to 3 days of withdrawals, terrible withdrawals, shakes, couldn't sleep. I mean, disgusting. To where, in the end, it was it wasn't that I was gonna miss drinking that was preventing me from getting sober. I was done drinking. I was more scared of going through the withdrawal stage again, as I had done in the past, and it failed. But when I'm telling you that I started eating clean from that first day, drinking a lot of water, my withdrawals were almost non-existent. They barely registered, and then that was it. So by day two, day three, I was off to the races, and I've never looked back since. Again, I'm human, I'm not perfect. There's days like Truthfully, like right now, it's been a few days that every morning I've been indulging in a little sweetbread with my coffee at work, and I know that that's a big no-no. Typically in the past, I'd have it once in a blue moon, and I'd cut it off. Now, originally, this was for an experiment that I'm doing. I'm actually, I decided to let myself go for a few weeks so I can then put the steps that I've been talking about in place and actually document how quickly my body will change if I stay to it so other people can see it, believe it, and apply it to their own life. But today and yesterday, I wasn't supposed to be eating them anymore, and I still did. So anybody that tries to give you advice and tries to come from a place that they're perfect and that they don't make mistakes, they're full of shit. There's only been one person on this earth that walked and lived the perfect life, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So if you're looking for true awakening, start eating really healthy. Start eating whole foods, your chicken, your steaks, your fish. If you're not accustomed to eating vegetables, go to the freezer section of your local market, pick a couple vegetables, get some seasoning, make sure you get some avocado or some olive oil. Don't use vegetable oil, please. If you have vegetable oil, corn oil in your house, throw it away. That is killing you. And water. Literally, that's all you need for the first 2 weeks. And at that point, you can build off that. You can start to say, okay, I don't want to just eat this for the rest of my life. So what else can I eat that's going to be healthy for me and keep me in this high state of energy? Because that's what happens. You have this awakening, you start doing things to improve your life, you start taking care of your health, and then you have this amazing sense of energy that you never had before. And the last thing you want to do now is give it up and go back to doing things that you were before. So, my friends, as always, please, please subscribe to our channel, check out all our videos. I truly hope that this channel is going to change a lot of lives. Even though it's already been a few months, still in its early stages. I don't make the cleanest videos, unfortunately. I don't have the best equipment for it. But for me, the important thing is that I get this information out to you all, and then you apply it and you use it in your own life so you can not only transform and live a beautiful life, but you can now become the person, the man, the woman that the people that truly love you can have in their lives as well. Because I think there's something very beautiful from being a person that nobody ever would have counted on, that everybody would have always assumed was going to be the one failing, the one that would need to be bailed out, whatever it is, into your situation here, to then being the most reliable person, the person with the strongest mind. I want that for everybody. I thank you guys. And like I said, If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, please. Thank you guys.